Holy crap.
Wow.
Wowza.
Do you think YouTube's going to let me monetize this video?
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Let's get this tweet out and let's start recording this. I would advise, I don't even recommend people join this show.
Don't say that.
I know, I'm just kidding.
A lot of good stuff.
I meant on the live. People should listen.
Hop in on live.
All right, I'm being dramatic. Everyone hop in here.
This is a therapy session.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you could call it.
All right, thumbnail's good to go.
All righty. YouTube's being tweeted.
Oh, we already got a chat from our boy Alex Beach. Another Rob Miss Bunny turns into a Drain 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some problems here, folks.
It's got like a magic trick at this point.
Can't believe I'm staying up for this garbage from Alex. I can't emphasize this enough. I know.
Hey, don't let Moo get hot. Don't let Moo Davis get hot.
Oh,
he just got absolutely worked. It's only. All right, we got this tweeted out. Let's.
We're going live early. Holy smokes. Shout out Fadeaway Clay in the chat. Getting it over with early. Respect.
Yeah. Honestly, respect we're even doing this at all.
Oh, man. You guys, we'll watch the end of this massacre together. How about that? Oh, my gosh. Oh, okay.
All right, man. This is crazy. This is
sad. I know it, folks. I know it. All right. I'm good to go, Chase.
I'm also good to go.
All right. Let's rock and roll. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1. We're live. We are live right now on the Church Ball Pod, Field of 68 Podcast Network YouTube channel right now. We are currently watching a massacre happening in Provo right now. Chase, it's almost 1 a.m. on the East Coast right now, Wednesday, February 25th. And disgusting performance from BYU, to say the least. I don't even know what the score is right now. I think it's like 30 points, whatever.
81-53 right now. 7:50 to go.
Yeah, if you're listening later on, we started this at around the 10-minute mark of the second half because we were not going to waste our time anymore. And neither of you guys. And there's a reason I didn't hop in here and say, do the classic "We're live" because I'm going to give the same effort as I saw on the court tonight, Chase.
Oh, yeah, that's a bar. That's a good line. Man, how awful and embarrassing and just disgusting is this? I really can't believe it. I know that this was a dangerous spot. I know UCF's playing amazing, but this is 100% on BYU. And I was trying to rack my brain and even like looking up like just the most abysmal losses I've ever seen from the COUGS. And this is up there with the absolute worst in the last 20 years. Whatever, like Pepperdine, Portland, Pacific, the WCC days. Like, this is so far above it because of the quality of this BYU team and the players they have on it. also you just beat a top 4 team, a 1 seed or a 2 seed in the tournament at home, and this is how you defend it, how you follow it up. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing all around. It's not just the players. It's the coaching staff. It's the players. It's everything. Everything is embarrassing from this performance. You finally, like, after months and weeks of us just coming on these podcasts and every fan being like, all right, we're going to trust the process. We're going to trust this coaching staff. We're going to trust the players. They can get it done. They can have a February comeback like they did last year. Every ounce of goodwill you had built up from that Iowa State win, just threw it in the trash tonight with a performance like this. And Chase, look, if they would have came out and lost this game, just a normal loss, whatever, even if it was like a 10-point loss and it pulled away at the end, shots weren't falling, I would be okay. You know what? That happens. But the effort level was so pathetic tonight. So pathetic. Shout out Ben Hammond in the chat. He said, I love you guys. Carter was a groomsman at my wedding. If you guys tell me to trust this coaching staff one more time, I swear on my life. I'm telling you, man. I'm. What did I just say? I mean, I'm not. You can't, because this is what we said in the preview, Chase. We said we picked BYU to win. We were wrong on that. We said it all comes down to the effort level, and we're not going to – if BYU brought the effort tonight, they could have won by 20-plus points. UCF, it gets into these blowout-type games. And then we knew – I was worried BYU wasn't going to come out with that same kind of effort, kind of a letdown spot after you get a big win against Iowa State. But this is just on a whole nother level of disgustingly bad, where it wasn't just one player tonight, Chase. It was every single dude out on the floor was just half-hearted closing out. It was just watching UCF just rip you apart. We talked about UCF being the more desperate team. I don't even know if they even looked like the more desperate team. Like, BYU just looked like, all right, we're like, I wanted to go to the movies tonight. I wanted to chill at home. Why am I here? Why am I on the court? It was awful. Just awful. We're watching this right now. 81-54 with 7 minutes to go. We had to start this. We hopped on this pod at the under 16 timeout in the second half. That's how pathetic this was.
Yeah.
And if anybody out there listening says anything otherwise, can BYU win games to close the season? Yes. Can BYU win a couple games in March at this point? Yes. But you got to call this what it is, and it's just absolutely embarrassing and pathetic. No two ways about it.
Pathetic is the right word. It's also like unfair to the people who showed up. You do this whole blackout thing, whatever. It's disgusting, the effort. I want to. You said something that I can't even remember anymore because I'm just watching BYU continue to play terrible basketball. I got my eye on the game.
I got my eye on the game too. I don't know why though.
We talked about in the preview, like we picked BYU to win, wrong, like you said, but we did say that we didn't think they would cover. We didn't think BYU was going to run away with this one because we just knew this team, and we kind of saw something like this coming. We obviously didn't see this coming. Losing by 30 in a quad 2 game at home is about as, bad as it gets if you're this level of BYU team. Like, I know there's worse teams out there, but like UCF's a bubble team, man. Like, all credit to them. They played great tonight. They were ready. Johnny Dawkins is a great coach and awesome. But to not even be in this game for 10 minutes into it, like, it's not just losing to a team that, like, UCF shot great and like I said, well coached, and they wanted this win. But you said it, man. Like, UCF wasn't even more desperate. They just were playing actual basketball.
Yeah, it was. Chase, I'm not kidding you. The couple clips that like people were sending us, shout out our guy Kevin. He was sending us clips from this game. I played at Pickup Hoops tonight at the Greensboro Steak Center here, and I was closing out better than this tonight. I was boxing out. Hey, we had a good night tonight, though. So shout out.
Hey,
Chase,
shout out.
I am a Charlotte Hornets fan, a Charlotte Bobcats fan. I watched I watched a lot of games from the 7-59 Bobcats. I'm wearing the shirt right now, for crying out loud. Tonight was worse than anything I watched this season. I mean, it was that season just abysmal across the board. Like, the only positive tonight, I guess, Kostic looked okay in the first half. Outside of that, every single player on the court tonight, F- grade. I mean, what else can you say?
This is the kind of, like, if you put this kind of like performance in like a high school team, like, this is the kind of stuff that gets you like running bleachers for like the next 4 practices, and like you get like seat privileges taken away from the bench. You know, like, this is bad, man.
Let me tell you this: if Coach K was running the show right now, they would not own any more BYU gear until the conference tournament started, where they would get locked out of the locker room. They would have to give up all their practice gear. They'd have to show up in their high school T-shirts in practice, because it's just one of those. I mean, they're doing alley-oop dunks on this team right now. Just
Karter, the crowd got Chick-fil-A though.
Oh gosh, this kid got hurt bad.
He looks like he might need an exorcism. I mean, this gosh.
Oh, that's bad. Okay, I don't want to. All right. Anyhow, not good. Let's go to Ben's question real quick in the chat. I know you guys said the goodwill from Iowa State is gone. Is the goodwill from their late run last season gone, depending on how this season ends? Great question.
I'm assuming he means program-wise, like program-wide and like with the KY stuff. I think, yeah, if they end this season as pathetic as this, yes. All the magic from last year, none of it's carried over now. You've spent it. And I'd have to reevaluate completely, starting from scratch, as with this coaching staff and recruit everything next year. If it is as pathetic as this, this isn't like an occurring thing. Like, I know they've played bad this season at moments. They've had skids, but like, hopefully this is a one-off. Like, everyone gets their butt kicked at some point. Whether or not that's by 30 to a bubble team, that's a different question.
Yeah, I was about to say, but this doesn't. If you're a team that's worth a crap, Chase, you don't lose like this.
This doesn't happen. No, you're right.
Look at the top 10 teams in college basketball right now. Arizona struggled with Baylor tonight. They didn't bring their A game or anything in Waco. They would never in a million years be in a game like this.
You're on the rate, never. And well, remember to fire up the Russ bus because Choo Choo splash zone cuts it to a 22-point game. I mean, what can we even do at this point other than laugh? This is bad. If BYU continues on this kind of trend, and if they get bounced first or even second round, to answer Ben's question, yeah, the goodwill from last season would be gone. And I would need to see something else from KY and the staff, because we're going to have uncomfortable conversations if this is how it ends, about, wasting a top tier, dare I say, generational talent in a year for a guy who decided to choose BYU over Blue Bloods and many other schools. And this is the kind of stuff that you're putting out for us to watch and root for.
Chase, maybe we started
bad
too
right
soon.
now, but go ahead.
I don't know. I think we may have started too soon. BYU is at the free throw line, about to cut it to a 20-point game. So
it's the closest they've been since
the tip-off.
I think since UCF got off the bus, actually. What do we even say, Karter? I mean, it's effort. We should retitle this stupid podcast title. Should be effort, because it's clearly entirely 100% dependent on effort for this team. And when they're like, oh, they're a second half team, you know why? Because they start to realize that they need to care in the second half. They start to realize that they are down 20 in the second half. Like, you can't be doing this. And you're lucky it's UCF. You're lucky it's February still. It's the end of February. This is as awful as it looks. But man, How are you going to show up to your own gym and not close out on a single shooter, not rotate, lazily point, hey, you got him, peel switch. What I mean, it's
Well,
embarrassing, it's pathetic, unfair, all the things we've said. I don't even know what to
but
say.
the funniest part was it wasn't even like in the man-to-man defense. It was when they switched to zone. Then UCF wouldn't even set like a hard screen. Like they'd basically, they'd swing the ball and then they'd have a screener come in front of the guy at the top of the key and get a guy like on the, like elbow 3 kind of. The guy wasn't even setting like a hard screen. He was just kind of standing there. And there's just, once again, this kind of goes back to what we talked about in the Iowa State game on the bright side is what effort level this BYU team is bringing from the jump immediately when you see how they're fighting off screens. If they're not fighting off screens, you can see it right when the tip off, they're just walking. They're not fighting over screens. So they're not trying. And then you see, okay, that's the kind of effort we're going to get tonight. And then it got so bad that they dug themselves a hole that was impossible to get out of. And we're in this situation now. Let's go back to some chats right now. I think this is a good question from Moose Crater. Are all these minutes Rob is playing taking its toll? He's been terrible since he started playing almost every minute. I think this is a fair question, but Chase,
It's slightly misguided. I see what he's saying. When Rob started playing every minute, he was awesome. Like that's when he had
Baylor
like the
was probably
39.
the first one, right?
Yeah, and then he followed that up with another like 30 plus. But it was obviously not great last game. They got the win anyway. And then tonight, like you're gonna see he's got 16 points right now. He probably will end up with more. 6 to 20. It's just not gonna do it. He wasn't finishing at all. Barely hit a 3 tonight. It's a valid question. They're asking him to do a ton. He's the only point guard on this team, and he's now having like to defend these guys. And all the guards in the Big 12 are tough. Playing 40 minutes. Yeah, maybe we haven't stopped to consider like, oh, why is your effort not there? Oh, because these guys are playing 40 minutes a game because maybe they don't have it in the tank. But it doesn't look like, in the game, it doesn't look like they're like super tired or dogged or anything. But maybe it's a little pick-uppy where you're like, something like you just taking possessions off and they've decided the first 10 minutes are the easiest possessions to take off. You'd rather finish strong than start it. It's a valid question because he's been struggling.
Yeah, he's definitely been struggling. I don't think that's it. Maybe it is part of it. I just think it's when he brings that level of effort and intensity and he's got that killer mentality, that's when he starts finishing well at the rim. And then tonight, I mean, you start early in this game, felt like he missed 5 just easy bunnies to start this game. And it just deflating play after deflating play after deflating play. From Grant Farley in the chat, how does UCF have better 3-point shooters than BYU? Like pick a dude and he's a better 3-point shooter than BYU.
Grant, thank you. Because I need to say this. You talked about last show how you're like with Boscovich taking threes, Moo taking threes. And it's like, look, if they're 2 and 8, like you just got to live with that. I think we're seeing now you can't live with that. I know it worked against Iowa State, and there's times it will work. But holy cow, dude. They suck at shooting. This team can't shoot at all. And you lose Richie Saunders, which is a massive toll. I know Rob's been shooting about 40%. He's been the only decent spot. Sometimes AJ hits pull-ups. That's really hype. No one else is a significant three-point shooter on this team at all. And in college and for the thought and effort put into recruiting this roster, it can't happen. It can't be. They're terrible at shooting three-pointers. I want that on the record.
Are you sure? I mean, we have a 28 game sample size. Is that enough?
We've been ignoring it because of the brilliance of AJ, because of Rob getting downhill, and because of our ability to really get paint touches.
Also,
But
I want it on the record right now. We're watching this game with 3:39 left in the game. Take every starter out. Rob and AJ do not need to be just why are you even thinking about playing them right now? Put them on the bench. Let these other guys go. I mean, you literally just get in the formation and take a knee at midcourt at this point. I mean, just run out the clock. Holy smokes. I want to get back to some chats here. Great chat by Grant. Jack said, Carter, what was your stat line at Hoops tonight? I don't actually know my stat line. I just know we went 8-1 or 9-1 tonight. So good
dang.
night. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, we were balling tonight. It was nice.
Let's go.
This is a good night.
You guys probably
poetic
beat the Cougs tonight.
Poetic that as Chase is saying we can't shoot Moo bricks a 3.
I mean, I was watching it as I was saying it, Alex.
Saved by They said Kevin Young should be embarrassed that every team goes off from 3 against us. Players should be too. And that goes back to our point we've talked about where it's, once again, it is not a coincidence that teams are having career games against us from the 3-point line. It is half-hearted closeouts. They are not closing out on shooters. I texted you about this, Chase. If you've played any level of basketball and you have any semblance of a jump shot that you are confident in, when you go up to shoot, you would rather be semi-contested than left wide open. That's just how it goes. And BYU is semi-contesting all these dudes. And so then it's like, oh, well, I guess it almost takes the pressure off the shot in a way, but yet they're also able to shoot in rhythm, not affected by it at all. It's crazy. And it just goes back to one thing, Chase. You kept saying it, and we're going to say it every single time on this podcast until this season ends, is one word. It just comes down to effort. And I want to hear Kevin Young talk about that in the press conference. I wish I could be in that press room tonight because that'd be the first thing I ask him.
I hope someone does. It has to be. And it's all about the defense. And if you really look at it here,
it is a 17-point game now.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about this. You talked about the closing out stuff, and it's just laziness. It's pure, unadulterated laziness.
What they got this look in their eye now. I'm watching right now, Chase. They got this look in their eye, the same as the one against Arizona. It's like, nah, we got this. You couldn't have had that at the 8-minute mark.
Hey, I tell you what, man, if this game was 50 minutes, watch out. Watch out for BYU.
I want this on record, too. If BYU somehow had the most miraculous comeback ever, I will be more than happy to say I was wrong. We will leave the thumbnail up, and people can come crap on us in the comments and everything. Just hilarious stuff. Jack said, hold up, boys. Cut it to 17 with 3 minutes left. And Ben said, you know this team is bad now that Jack has dropped the Moo gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It's a lifestyle. Isaac said still time
since he did
that. Fadeaway Clay said Kevin Young never talks about defense. Too much NBA. Wish Kelvin Sampson was our coach instead. Defense is ugly. Wins ball games. Well, if you like Kelvin Sampson, you wouldn't. That the offense would not be there at whatsoever. That Houston team, man. Oh my god.
Houston can't be feeling too great right now.
This is a great theory. Alex Beach said, does Kevin Young think the game is 48 minutes like the NBA?
If the game was 48 minutes, BYU legit have a shot here. That's a good comment.
That is an elite comment. Continuing from this game, going forward with this BYU team, they've got their weird East Coast road trip. I mean, if it's gonna light a fire underneath you, I mean, this would do it for you. Going on the road to West Virginia and at Cincinnati, and then you close with Texas Tech at the end of the year. Going back to Ben's question, talking about like the goodwill of this team, like you can still close the season strong. You can win if you win games. People forget losses. Will forget losses pretty quickly if you start rattling off some wins and just having consistent performances instead of just up and down roller coaster like season where it's, oh, you're going to play hard tonight or you're not going to play hard. I mean, it has the same feeling of when you turn on an NBA game where you go, oh, that team's trying tonight, that team's not. Okay, I know what the result's going to be. Boom.
Boom. That's what league play has been like, this BYU team. I don't want to like if you tell someone like, hey, dude, I just know you're not giving any effort, they might get offended. They might disagree. And look, I know these guys show up. I know they work really hard throughout the week, lots of practices, lifting, all this stuff while being students. I'm not saying these guys don't work hard. I don't think they're like just lazy people, but it's the stuff on the court. It's these intangibles, these basketball savvy things we talk about all the time. It's rushing to your man. It's being disciplined enough to like we'll see which rebounds to chase and which ones to not. It's tailing a dude. Like we saw it against Iowa State. That's get up and after him defense. That's the stuff that you need to see to win a game. And tonight could not have been any more different. What were you going to say?
Do you put this on coaching or do you put this on the players more? At some point, I mean,
what are we? What am I? You think I'm Stephen A? How am I supposed to answer that? I mean,
that's a fair question. That's a fair response to my bad question.
I'm just kidding. No, it's a fair question. Who's to say? I wish I could go to practice one time and just see what's going on. But at this point, like the fact that we've seen it before, but then we just don't see it sometimes, man, like I don't know. I know that the coaching needs to be switched up because this defense isn't working. He's gone handheld, folks.
Yeah, well, I'm going handheld. This game's got a little interesting. I mean, I don't know.
They'd have to hit 6 more threes and get a stop UCF.
Marust is in the ball game, so
he is.
Going back to the chat real quick, people are saying coaching. I think that's the easy way to put it. Like, I think your fallback is coaching. You got to keep the players motivated and everything. Start your lives when the game starts. That's a great call. I think, yeah, that's what. Are we jinxing this BYU team? Maybe we just have to do watch-alongs now instead, Chase.
Maybe. Massive dagger.
I think that's a dagger with 225
just hit the folks
left.
all over us, dude. Dang. Really thought we had something going there. I mean, Rob with sneaky 20 points, Karter.
Yeah, I mean, at least I'll give him credit for trying hard in the second half, but none of them were trying hard in the first half, and the game was lost in the first half. I would be fascinated.
Go ahead.
No, you're going.
You can't let UCF score 90 on your own court, on your own gym. Like, I'm glad BYU started to finally have some offensive production. Guess what? You should have. UCF's not a good defensive team, especially on the interior where you're at your best.
Yeah, and what's so frustrating too is like at times, like you watch the Iowa State game and you see BYU where you go, oh, this can be kind of a lockdown defensive team. You can put a great Iowa State team in a difficult position and lock them down, clamp them up, where you put a dude who's averaging 8 3-point attempts per game, 51% from three, and you have him shoot 1 for 5 from three in a game. You can bring that kind of effort out, and you put Joshua Jefferson. He was struggling all night against this BYU defense. That is what's so frustrating about this. It's not like the BYU teams of the past where it's, look, dude, like they would have a guy he's just not athletic enough to be able to hang with some of the top teams in college basketball. It is what it is. They still brought the effort, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to move their feet enough and get it done. This team is athletic enough to play defense and be locked down. They're athletic enough to not give up 50-plus points in the first half to UCF.
Can't happen. Embarrassing.
Hey,
6 more points for a chance to win some Jersey Mikes.
You know what's the worst part about that promo? It's just a chance. Like, why can't it just be like 50% off Jersey Mikes or something like that?
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, Papa John's does it right. Saved by the Y says, injuries aside, KY has failed to manage the players available to him this year. This is interesting. It's going to sound like I'm defending KY a little too much. He has not been great in moments. He has not been the perfect coach. He also was handed a tough deck with injuries, and then this supporting cast did not turn out the way that recruitment wanted it to be, and was just simply not the guys that BYU needed. And it's obviously been tricky to figure out the rotations, the minutes going to who's and these lineups and all this stuff. KY's not been great. Tonight was awful. I think the offense needed a big overhaul there in the middle of the season when we started to really look at the ISO stuff, in the face. I think he made some adjustments. It got better. The defense, I know he's not the defensive coordinator. He's an offensive guy, whatever. You're the head coach. It's on you. If your team consistently starts first halves like this, it's on you. But to give him a little bit of grace, he was dealt a pretty garbage deck outside of three awesome guys.
But I think this is a great comment from Moose Crater. He said it's the supporting cast that he handpicked, though. I'm sure it's guys on staff doing a lot of the recruiting and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. I think this is a great point because guess what? You know what Hubert Davis got crapped on for year after year after year at Carolina is roster construction, how he stunk in the portal, how he stunk recruiting guys. And then guess what? Carolina figured it out a little bit, but look, this is like it's getting the right recruiting and transfer portal is half the battle of college basketball, and finding these gems, finding these support, finding the role guys who are going to step up in big moments. You know who doesn't have a problem with that? Michigan, Dusty May. You know who's not having a problem with that? John Shire and Duke. Look how bought in those dudes are. Look how they're playing and giving a crap every single possession. And look, BYU has comparable resources to these schools. I'm not saying they're Duke, but guess what? Look at Kentucky right now. Look what's going on over in Lexington. They stink this season because they're kind of going through the same thing.
Well said.
Roster, say you can get you can say it's certain it's people on staff or whatever. At the end of the day, roster construction also falls on the head coach in this day and age of college basketball, especially as well.
You're right, and people are mentioning that in the chat, which is fair because that's again. You're the head coach, which means you're also GM, which means you're basically playing owner. Like you put on every hat, and that's on him. I hope this is a lesson. I wonder if the resources were also stretched thin because they put so much into three guys. Maybe the bargaining chips weren't as loud in the portal as they were.
Yeah, I think that's.
But I'm not going to make excuses because of people.
But I think that's a good point in just college basketball in general, where it's, Joe Tipton put out an article today talking with different coaches about like how their NIL is going to work in this next cycle of the portal, where it's like, hey, our budget's $8 million. And then we have, this point guard who we want is demanding $3 million. It's like, we can't build out a decent enough roster around that. So we're just not going to fork up the $3 million for a guy like that. And I'm not saying BYU necessarily did that in this circumstance, and also, if you have the chance to go get AJ DeBansa and you got to pay up some money, you're doing that 10 times out of 10. So who cares? Like you're taking that. Guess what? Carolina matched the same amount. Alabama matched the same amount for AJ, and he still chose BYU. You take that deal every day of the week. But I don't know how the actual finances worked around that, and it wasn't stretched too thin or whatever, or if it was just poor scouting.
Well, on paper, like a lot of these guys made a lot of sense. You have the big three. Those are a given, right? You went out. I mean, Rob Wright was an easy yes to say. And then you have Richie Saunders returning. Kay Bakeda speaks for himself. Moo Davis was supposed to be your defensive specialist, ball stopper, hit the three when you need him to. Tyler Morris was supposed to be your Trevin Nell replacement, right? Who in warmups, when no one else is on the court, he's straight water. Nate Pickens was supposed to be your backup point guard to give, Rob a rest and still run the offense. Like on paper, I saw where they were going, but they missed the mark. KY to the top down assistants recruiting everyone. They missed the mark with this roster. I hate to say it because I think they're nice guys and they've been really nice to us. But yeah, they missed it with this. And then you have to manage all this stuff, all the injuries, and you have guys that you realize you cannot trust to play out there. And then you're forced to, with Richie Saunders' injury, start people you didn't want to start, whoever it is. And it's a tough situation. Look, we're talking like the season's over. Look, 20-point loss. It's going to end up being 15 or 17 here. Hey, Jersey Mike's is on the table, fellas. AJ just hit a free throw to make it 80. So go ahead and text that code. And he still ended up with 25, which is, how does he do it? season's not over, but it just leaves like an icky feeling, like seeing your team like just completely roll over. Just completely like, you want a 3? Go ahead. Like, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a good point. Just rolled over. Oh my gosh. But you know it's also funny? Where the season's not over, but like go into March Madness, make a little run. This all gets forgotten.
We'll forget all about the UCF game.
Guess what? When BYU won that second round game against Wisconsin, were you sitting there thinking about, oh man, that Utah game sucked last year at the Huntsman Center? No, you're sitting there thinking about how awesome it was. So once again, season's not over.
I was hugging Ben Hammond to think about Utah.
Can I say something that might be a dumb take and might be like an NBA take?
Yeah, please.
I do not care what unless it's the difference between being a 7 seed and the 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. I do not care one bit about BYU's Big 12 tournament results. Just be healthy going into March. I'm not saying punt necessarily, but you better be healthy going into March, into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that's a clip right there. I'm with you, dude. Like, look, would it be cool to win the Big 12? Go far. Like, it's against, especially this year, the great competition. Be awesome. It'd be really cool. But it doesn't matter. You know what everyone cares about? March Madness.
Yeah, well, and not even just that. It's also where the amount of minutes this team plays, especially the top guys. Let's say BYU did make a run to Saturday in the Big 12 tournament. The amount of miles you're putting on that team and just the wear and tear those guys are going to go through. And then they got to turn around and got to fly to like Buffalo, New York, and play on a Thursday in the NCAA tournament at 2 p.m. local time.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think it's a fair take.
And normally I'm like, go for it in the Big 12 tournament and everything. But the way this team is set up, you got to give these guys some rest. You got to give them a chance. Oh, also, but Jack nailed it. Y'all know DJ Khaled is going to be there?
Let's not say anything we regret. Another one.
Ben Hammond said it would be hilarious if we won the Big 12 tourney and then lost to Belmont by 12 in the round of 64. It would not be. It would not be.
Hey, knock on wood.
But I think this is even a better point. No way we're winning the Big 12 anyways. Like, as good as this BYU team is, in a one-off game, can they beat any team in college basketball? I truly believe they can in any one-off game. I believe that.
All right.
But 4 in a row?
First off, final. UCF 97, BYU 84. Made it a 13-point game. Made up like 24 points while we were on.
We're live. There you go. Is that what you wanted?
No. That was great, though. AJ ends up with 29 points. A little bit of stat padding going on. 8 rebounds. 0 assists. Rob with 20. Moo had 8. That
does help
in case you wanted to know. Analytics
it does help the analytics a lot.
I have a great question for the chat for you. What does BYU have a better chance of doing? Winning the Big 12 tournament or making the Final Four? Carter, go. He's typing.
No. I'm thinking. I would honestly say Final Four.
You think about it logically, right? Final Four is you win 4 games in a row, right? In the NCAA tournament. Got to win your round of 64, 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8 game. Boom, you're in the Final Four. If BYU is going to win this Big 12 tournament, they're going to have to win 4 games in a row because they're a Wednesday team. So you got to win Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then that Saturday you got to win. That'd be the championship game. Boom, you win the Big 12. But what is going to be a harder 4 games in a row? Like, okay, you might see Oklahoma State round 1. Round 2, you're going to see Texas Tech or Iowa State again or Houston. Then you're going to see Arizona. Then you're going to see Kansas. Then you're going to see any of those top 3, 4 teams. So, yeah, it'd be easier to make the Final Four. That's a credit to the Big 12. And obviously, BYU's in a position. Some of these other teams, Houston will have to win 3 games in a row. You know, Arizona will have. only have to win 3 games in a row. But at
unless
this
you turn
point,
into the 2024 NC State Wolfpack and go win 5 straight games, and then all of a sudden make this miraculous run. But then you go through, you look at BYU's path right now. I'm looking at the Fielding to 68 bracket here, where you go Missouri first round, then Nebraska, and then Houston in Houston. That would be pretty brutal. And then UConn in the Elite Eight. It's like, yeah. And the Big 12 tournament, you're probably having to play Houston, then Kansas in Kansas City, and then you're playing Arizona in the title game. Good luck.
It's just harder, way harder than making the Final Four. That's crazy to say, but yeah.
Going to this chat right here from David. He said Sweet 16 is the ceiling, and that would be enough to make me happy. Would you be happy? Sweet 16? Would that be enough?
I mean, the way I'm feeling right now, yeah, in the moment it would be enough. If this team makes the second weekend, I'll be ecstatic. Retrospect, I probably will be like a team underachieved for sure. But in the moment, I'd be very happy. Yeah. Great. It's a great point to pick up. What about you?
Yeah, I would say Sweet 16, especially with like the Richie injury too, and with all the injuries you put on it. Like overall, I would be like, okay, satisfied. That's fine. Like I get it. Tough season. It goes how it goes or whatever. Anything less than that, I'd be disappointed with. And anybody that comes in and says, "Oh, you're BYU should be BYU doesn't have the history like these other schools. You should be happy if they win a tournament game or something like that." No, you have the number 1 pick in the draft. You have maybe the best player in the country, and you invested these kind of resources into this team. You can win a couple games in March. I think that should be the expectation. I just worry when things get really tough is how much does this loss hurt BYU going forward? Because if they drop to that 7-10 game, I think that's where things you kind of put a harder ceiling on this team where you got to go against some of these 2 seeds. Like imagine BYU having to face Houston, or they could still face Houston, by the way. The bracket, you can face your conference opponent in the second round if you haven't played twice already. But if you have to play like Houston or Illinois in the second round, like you're playing Purdue, it's still a tough matchup. You're playing against the best point guard in the country in Braden Smith. Getting to that 6 line is very key. I'd almost rather be the 6 than the 5 or the 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Because I don't want to face the number 1 seed in the Sweet 16.
You're right. It's just simply easier. The 2 seeds don't scare me. Let's look at this, Karter, now, their resume. This UCF game, UCF will probably get a bump. It's not enough. You're at home. This will be a quad 2 loss, all right, which doesn't kill anything, but it doesn't look pretty. And most people went to bed at halftime. In everyone else's mind, you lost by 30. All right. You are now 6-6 quad 1. You're about to be 6-2 quad 2, and then undefeated in the other stuff, the quad 3, quad 4. There's really no chance. Again, this UCF one is not going to move to a quad 1 loss. And this Oklahoma State loss, let's see here. I mean, there's a chance that could sneak to to being quad 1 instead of quad 2. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. This is a 6 or 7 seed resume in my mind, especially with the only one like really big statement win, which was Iowa State, Karter.
Yeah, and I mean that's what we kind of talked about in the non-con, where it's like, okay, a lot of these games were good. They're against, higher quality opponents, especially compared to KY's first year, but they're not, big time games outside of UConn. And a good thing they honestly scheduled these games the way they did, because it makes the resume look a heck of a lot better than how it actually looks on the court right now.
100%.
Because like a team like Clemson right now, they're currently 38 in the net. Clemson's free falling right now. That Clemson team has nobody averaging above 13 points a game. None of those Clemson players are probably going to be playing in the NBA when it's all said and done. Yet it's nice having that quad 1 win at this point. So we'll see. We'll see going into March. Let's hop back into the chat real quick. Fadeaway Clay said AJ got his 29, baby. Let's go. Still the nation's leading scorer. That's what it's all about.
Hey man. That's the craziest 29 points I've ever seen. I mean, we watched it in real time. I was with y'all in the chat here. Welcome in if you joined us. I mean, our numbers have tripled here since the game has ended. We've been going for 45 minutes now. We did not wait until the end of this one. Even when they cut it to 13, we weren't getting too excited.
Let's hop into the chat here. Your brother-in-law, Chase. I'm just disappointed we couldn't even compete a little bit. Something was very off with all these guys tonight, especially Rob with his nonstop missed layups. More so into the first half, he started making some shots, and then he said, "Shout out to Kostic."
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you what. Yeah, it looked off from 500 miles away here in Denver, Colorado. I could tell the fellas were not feeling it tonight.
AJ finished with 29, 11 of 22 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, and 8 rebounds.
Hey, the screenshot will look pretty. That right there, that looks pretty good.
I hope whenever like Bleacher Report or House of Highlights cuts up his highlight tape from tonight, they just crop out the score.
They might just need to put a black bar over
just
it.
Redacted.
It was only 6 free throws too, man. He was getting to the rim. I mean, 7 or 8 of those points were just at the very end when he was just getting layups.
I think that's a good point to mention as well. That's where I was frustrated with AJ early on in this game. We've seen this happen in some games, especially like Arizona and some other games where it falls into like, okay, AJ, bail us out, save us in this moment, where AJ is just kind of going for the call, and then when the refs don't call it, sometimes it's a foul, sometimes it's not. All fair. I get that. But when he's not getting the call, you still got to be aggressive and you still got to get to the basket, but he's searching for that whistle a little too much in those moments, and then he gets in his own head and starts making poor decisions. That's one thing that needs to be fixed in his game a little bit. But at the NBA level, he's getting that call, especially in the regular season.
Yep. And Jack says, how many of those 29 AJ points came in the second half? The answer is 19. 19 second half points.
7 of 10.
A lot of that came pretty easy buckets. Our guy Nathan Milligan. Nathan, hot takes. We've missed you, buddy. Where you been? He says Kostic and Russ had decent games. Maybe this is a turning point for them. Only positive I could possibly spin is this gave a lot of guys some playing time. We saw French Dom. Kostic had some nice moves and was shooting okay from 3. And even Russ felt like he was getting into the game. At least he was showing some passion. I mean, he was getting on the floor and yelling a little bit.
To further that point, Kostic plus 14 tonight. Russ plus 12 with the plus minus.
Wow. I mean, they were a lot of that comeback, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a flawed stat. But they did actually. I do want to give them credit though, because they're the two guys that were the second they got in that game, they were actually trying and they were actually giving a crap.
Yeah, 100%. Good question here. Lime Lemon says, why didn't they play in Boop at all in the second half? We started coming back. We were small with high energy. Why don't we add Boop energy? Is so confusing. Your guess is as good as mine. I think Boop should be starting these games. If he's someone that can bring energy, and you look at the beginning of all these games, like no offense to Boscovich, I thought he was a big part of the Iowa State win, and I think he earned his minutes. But I just think if your biggest struggle, and you see that the under 4 timeout, like, okay, we need the tide to turn now on this energy and the effort. Like, I see no negatives and just throwing Boop in there. What are you losing offensively? Yeah, he fumbles the ball. He's not a reliable shooter at all. But everything else he does benefits this team massively. And the biggest thing is just being that energizer guy and to bring energy and effort. So that one's a confusing one to me. And him not playing at all in the second half, really, was it really didn't play at all in the second half? I got to check the stuff
He
here.
played 4 minutes in the second.
4 minutes, 5 minutes in the first. That makes no sense to me. Personally, I'm not the coach. I'm not in practice. I know, but I see what he does on the court. Good things happen whenever he's in there, for the most part.
Yeah,
and he brings the thing that this team's lacking the most. I don't know.
I agree with the point where I think he should be starting because you can't afford getting in these holes like this and not bringing that energy from the jump. And he brings that right out of the gates every single time. So let's just stop doing the song and dance with any other player. And if he's such a liability on the offensive end, then fine, sub him out, bring someone else in, go from there. But you can't afford to have this lack of a defensive effort tonight from the jump. And you can't continue to have this. This has been a theme since November when the season started and has not changed coming into February. So I agree with you. I think he should start with him playing the second half minutes. I mean, when you're down by that much, you're just like, look, I'm just going to bring in offensive guys. I'm going to bring in guys who can maybe make shots and whatever. Second half, I don't really care. The game was over.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It just seemed like he got punished for like one offensive slip up when it was like, I mean, that's not why you put him in there, right? Surely not. There's some chats making me crack up. I got a shout out. Fadeaway Clay says game's over, but I'm pretty sure I just saw BYU give up another wide open corner three, and I'm pretty sure that thing was water too. Gamora says Richie would have played harder on a knee scooter.
I'm happy Richie wasn't in the building for that one tonight.
He didn't need to see that. Maybe they need him back in there. And Blenby says, "Sir, another wide open UCF 3 has hit the Marriott Center."
I need Jack. Jack, I need you to get back on the memes. I need that meme ASAP and send it to me, awesome. Please. Alex Beach with a gem of a comment. Boop not starting reminds me of Jackson Robinson coming off the bench just to win 6th man of the year. It's like the Tyler Hero thing. That was such a stupid gimmick by Mark Pope, where it's just like, oh, we're gonna play the first 3 minutes without Jackson Robinson. Like Roy Williams used to do every senior night. He would always make sure to play the walk-ons until the under 16 timeout, no matter what. And it felt like you're just like, and I get that. That's a different sentiment, and that's awesome. Roy Williams would do that, but then. Meanwhile, you got Mark Pope doing that in every game in the season, being like, we're going to just try and survive these first 3 minutes so we can bring Jackson Robinson off the bench and weirdly boost our bench points. Like, just start the man. He was by far the best player on that team.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Boop's the best player on this team, but...
No, you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying.
Gosh, it's gotcha journalism.
Gotcha journalism. You all heard the quote. Man, these chats are cracking me up.
Some of them we can't show, but keep chatting away because this is cracking us up and getting through this thing.
Scout Team says offense drops to 11 Ken Palm, defense 47, 22 overall. Great shout out, Scout Team. Not a huge dip. A lot of that was just second half easy buckets, to be honest. Let's see here. Fadeaway Clay on his Boop on the Boop theory says KY doesn't value defense enough to play in Boop more. He's more enamored with a player like Kostic that can shoot the ball better. He might be hitting it on the head there.
Are we doing like Lincoln Riley comparisons right now with Kevin Young, or just like we're focused so much on the offense? It's like Lincoln Riley's kryptonite every single year at Oklahoma and at USC at this point is they have the worst defense in history. They're giving up 400 points a game. Lincoln Riley could never figure out defense in college football.
I mean, he's on that trajectory. We're starting there. So you guys are on one. Coach Frank says, and Boop isn't allowed more than 10 minutes a night because his hair doesn't follow the honor code. Alex says, maybe we should start AJ from the bench so our bench scoring goes up. You guys are killing it. Nathan says, saw lots of people saying that our ceiling is lower with Richie out. I don't think our ceiling changes much because we have AJ, but our floor feels really low right now. Nathan, we missed these takes, brother. Where you been? For real. I think that's spot on. Profound, even.
That is spot on because the floor does feel very low right now where you're like, okay, if UCF can go into your building and put up 97 points on you, okay, what happens if you're a 6-11 matchup and you got to go against a team that just came off a hot win in Dayton in the first four? And we've seen what those first four teams can do once they get into the tournament. It usually feels like those first four teams usually win a game or two in March, and they're going to be feeling good and with a little rust coming into that NCAA tournament game. So,
yeah. And to his point, like, how many games would have ended up like this if not for Richie Saunders? And I think that this game wouldn't have gotten as ugly if Richie plays. I mean, that Kansas game, I was there. He dropped 33. It's the only reason BYU didn't lose by 30.
You know, it's another game that would have been like this, maybe not to the same degree, but they would have 1,000% lost this game, is at Utah. BYU does not beat Utah this year if Richie's not on that court and bringing it every single possession and getting those key offensive rebounds and setting the tone and playing with that kind of intensity. So there is a lot to miss with Richie Saunders. And, you know, and you're going to hear people talk about this BYU team and the coaching staff and how they're going to say, okay, Richie being out. And I know people are going to be tired of that quote unquote excuse, but it is fair because how good of a player Richie Saunders is.
100%. I can't stop laughing.
We can't show half of these chats. Oh, here's one we can show. Only Noah Hartsock can save us now.
Hey, oh man. Saved by the Y says too much ISO today, especially when things aren't getting out of hand. That's when AJ really looked at his worst. He was hunting fouls and back to the ISO stuff. Budby says, how did last year's offense go from creative and fun to this? Different personnel, man.
Well, last year's offense from the first half in Colorado and before that was this. And
yeah,
it's once again, it all starts
with better 3-point shooters.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. It all starts on the defensive end with all the effort, blah, 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 blah. Same bullcrap we said over and over and over again. At the same time, it's when BYU gets stuck, when a team, it's not just like a good team, a good Arizona team. You could drive at will on this UCF team. They were just missing layups left and right tonight. It's when BYU gets into their half-court offense and just gets this stagnant, and there's no plan. Everyone's staring at each other like, oh, what am I supposed to do? And then the ball handler, like when Moo has the ball at the top of the key, give him a screen. He's not supposed to go one-on-one with a defender and start doing bag work. Get Keba up there and give him a screen and go. And there's just no movement. It's everyone standing around. It's everyone looking at each other. It just looks like there's not, and especially on the defensive end tonight, it felt like there was no plan there either. There were so many times everyone's just looking around like, was I supposed to get that shooter? Or was I supposed to switch there? Was I supposed to close out there? It just felt like there was just a lack of clarity for these dudes going into tonight as well.
Yeah. And Shoot the Rock, I mean, we could just title the episode this. It was all about defensive effort. Embarrassingly bad.
Horrible. It was terrible, Kenny.
We were a lot more negative when we started this, folks. A lot of you have joined since the game ended. But yeah, we're as disgusted as you are. Trust me. We're just having fun now with these comments. Alex, to your point, says, I love how the ball handler has to beg for a screen each possession. Even that Iowa State game, as awesome as it was, going back and watching it, so many possessions, you're like, what are we running? And the answer is nothing. The answer is like, whoever has the ball at the end of the shot clock is going to be the lucky recipient of a
Chase,
shot.
I know I'm a Duke fan, and I know I'm biased when all this crap, but I know you're a little sneaky Duke fan. You're a closet. You know, people talk about like our guy Connor is a closet. You know, he's a secret, you know, bronzexual. You're a sneaky Duke fan. You love Duke. But just go watch Duke play. And watch what John Shire's running on the offensive end, hunting mismatches, getting his guys into position where Cam Boozer's not having to go one-on-one at the top of the key. You know why Cam Boozer's having such a great year is because they're running so much action to get him in the best possible situations so then he can get the ball and go attack his mismatch and get easy buckets. That's the name of the game. That's just basketball one-on-one. Go watch what Duke's doing, It is night and day what you're watching with this BYU team.
Yeah. Let's just say there's a reason I'm a sneaky Duke fan. The hoops that they're playing right now is some of the most beautiful to watch. There's a reason I find myself enamored. Jack says if KY implemented every change in this chat, we would be a shoo-in for the Natty. I think
Chat
he's
knows ball.
Skylar Halford is what this team needs. This is a good point. I almost punched my TV on that fast break when Rob Wright went one-on-one for that reverse layup instead of passing it to any of the three wide open guys in that fast. I mean, he could have gone off the backboard. I think Boop would have stuffed that. I'm with you, Clay. I was like, I mean, what are you doing? That was so early. That was a momentum thing. And it's kind of, tells the story of this game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Watching BYU on offense, it looked like my junior jazz teams growing up. To put it into perspective, I played with theater kids.
All right, James might have hit comment of the night here. I loved how AJ gave away that BYU's only offensive play in that halftime clip with Simon. Ooh, that's really good.
You know what was a funny nugget they talked about? They were at UCF. The broadcasters, shout out Mike Monaco. I really do like Mike Monaco as a play-by-play guy. They were talking about they were at shoot around and they're like, they were screaming, they were cussing out their players to not ever, just don't jump for a single AJ pump fake. Never, ever, ever, ever jump. And they're just screaming at him. And they didn't jump for a single pump fake tonight.
No. They had him scouted well. They played him amazing that first half. His stat line's very deceptive. And we say that as massive AJ fans.
Credit to Johnny Dawkins in this UCF team as well, because after this win, they could lose out the rest of the year. They're a shoe-in for the dance. They're going to be playing in March Madness, and they're a team not working with a great budget by any means in the Big 12 compared to these other schools, and they're getting big wins like at BYU tonight, blowing them out, beating Kansas when Darren Peterson was playing on their home floor. Just big wins for them, and credit Johnny Dawkins, man. They were by far the better coach team tonight. And the better team.
They might have, I don't want to say they've locked up, but they've gotten very comfortably in the field with this win. I mean, this is a big win for them. So
I would say comfortable. I think they're fine.
Comfortable. Yeah. Unless they have a catastrophic meltdown. Welcome to the tournament, UCF. And congratulations. Very likable staff. Johnny Dawkins is the man. On BYU, Brad Jones says, I like this comment. Seed won't matter. BYU could beat a 2 seed by 10 or lose to Wofford by 15. Wouldn't be shocked either way. And that sums up this BYU team.
Yeah. I think this is absolutely a fair statement.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to that Simon clip. What AJ said is from Jack. Yeah, we normally kick it out to shooters. Yeah, we're going to need the names of those shooters, AJ. I think he was like, yeah, Richie, but he's gone now. And now we have Alexi and Rob is what he said. Those are the two names he mentioned.
No comment.
No comment.
Watching hockey is probably more enjoyable than BYU at times. Yeah, shout out USA and shout out the NHL playoffs coming up. Really missing Dawson and Nate Pickens. Yes, they absolutely are.
Yeah,
why do we also take the ball back out of to the three every time we drive the ball? Are we scared we're going to get hurt or something?
I don't know. I don't think they're scared to get hurt. I think they probably are just I don't know. Next comment.
What is this weird zone we run? Is it to hide Rob on defense, and why don't we match up on the offensive side? I think this is a good point. I think a lot of this with the weird zone I don't think it's specifically on one player like Rob or anything. Because look, if you watch tonight, not a single player was playing defense tonight. Not a single player was moving their feet. Not a single player was fighting over screens. So it wasn't just Rob. It was everybody on the defensive end tonight. I think that's a fair question. I think the bigger point is it's just they felt like they had no answer at playing man-to-man because they weren't bringing the effort tonight. So you feel like you can skate by playing a zone. I mean, it's kind of like the ultimate fat guy move when you're playing pickup hoops. It's like, hey, fellas, let's go zone so I don't have to run. Guess what? When you play zone in college basketball, you still have to run and close out and play intense defense, and you still have to be locked in, moving to guys, and then they're going to try and move you side to side and watch out for the middle. Like, you still have to play defense. You can't get around playing defense.
I'd even say if you're playing zone right and you're playing a good team, it's harder than man-to-man because there's zero possessions off. I mean, people think that's like, ooh, my zone, like 10-foot rate. Not how it works.
And not just that, it's also if you're playing a consistent zone on defense, then if you get if another team is consistently getting out in transition as well, you're cooked. You're never going to get back and settled into your defense. And so that creates a whole nother list of problems if you don't have the right communication in your transition defense.
100%. 100%. I mean, the defense needs a complete overhaul. It needs to change entirely. It's awful. It's awful. And for a team with like this much athleticism, length, and size, it's inexcusable. And it is effort right now.
From Andrew Franklin in the chat, I think Democrats enjoyed the State of the Union tonight more than BYU fans did this game. It was an awful game.
David says, at least we didn't lose by 50. Was looking like a national embarrassment was about to happen there for a bit. Yeah, hey, man, it tipped off 11 Eastern. Maybe people didn't even watch, and they go, oh, 13 points? Well, that's not bad.
That's what's going to happen is your people on the East Coast are going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, wow, like that's a bad loss for BYU. They were a 13-point favorite going into this game. Lose by 13, that's not great. It's like, well, they were down 30-plus in this game, and it was horrific.
Yeah. No need to watch the tape. We'll do that for y'all. And I can tell you right now, it's not pretty.
I'm going to go here. I'm going to CJ, my guy.
CJ's not having a good night. He's not having a good night.
And that's CJ. Okay. He started off with his cussing aloud, and I said, absolutely, let it fly in the chat right now. We may not show it on screen. We might not read out loud. Kids show. So, but I want to get his chats in here. Defense sucks. Shooting sucks. Finishing at the rim sucks. Effort sucks. But other than that, I think we're pretty solid guys.
You know, what's funny is that he's not even wrong. And yet BYU still finds a way to win. And we still think they're good and like they could beat anyone.
Yeah. Zone and pickup is diabolical. It is. But if you have to, you have to.
When would you have to do zone and pickup?
If you're tired. If you're tired and you're going against a team that has like a really good big and you guys are kind of small and you're like, I'll let them shoot threes. We don't care. Let's just pack in the paint.
Yeah, but the second, I mean, if you're doing that, if you're playing with guys who know anything about basketball, that's getting exposed immediately.
I think it's an end of the night kind of move. I don't think you do that in the first couple games.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I don't think that's a... Well, yeah. Anyhow, Fadeaway Clay said, I didn't think it would be this bad, but I did feel let down coming, especially seeing how relieved Kevin Young looked after the Iowa State one. Probably was softer on the guys in practice after win. Could be. We weren't in practice, so we can't say, but we did feel like it was an obvious potential letdown spot, but you just didn't think it was going to happen like this. So,
yeah. Again, we didn't think BYU would cover. We thought it'd be close, and we were wrong. It was not close. Other way around. Shout out UCF.
Yeah, there's no have to go zone and pick up. I want that clear. I'm saying it's a full-on fat guy move to go zone.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get into the nuances of pickup because it's different.
That's a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, but Shoot the Rock and I, we're speaking the same language.
But once again, if you're going against a team and pick up against a 2-3 zone, yeah, 100%. If you're going against a team that's doing a 2-3 zone and pick up, if you can't solve the 2-3 zone and pick up basketball, that's your fault.
Hey, Syracuse, Boeheim feasted for years, man.
Did he? Did he though?
Okay.
Or was there a lot of wasted potential with Boeheim
It's
because he was too stubborn about a 2-3 zone defense?
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say it's late, so I'm gonna say it. Boeheim's overrated. I know he got the mellow ring, he got the title, but nothing else. What else did he do, Carter? Had some decent years, but that's it. I'm with
Chase,
you.
it is way too late for me to get going on Jim Boeheim. I have about 4 hours locked in the chamber ready to go about
Yeah.
Jim Boeheim rants.
All you have to do on Jim Boeheim is drive. For more info, look up Jim Boeheim driving.
Chase, I flew to North Carolina to retire him myself against Wake Forest. Shout out David Williamson. Game winner.
Did it yourself.
All UCF had to do was put 2 players on the left wing to beat our zone. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like all they did was just have a guy stand in front of the defender, not even set a screen, and then just all of a sudden the guy's just standing behind his own player, having a wide open 3 because no one was fighting over an average screen.
Yeah. Oh man, Jack says we played against a ward that went 2-3 zone. We countered by full court pressing, swatted a deacon, didn't even feel bad. That Bubble Murray.
Yeah. I want chats. Drop some questions in the chat right now. And before we wrap up here, whether it's takes about BYU, whether it's whatever, but drop some questions in here. Let's get the discussion going a bit. Bring your best stuff right now.
Yeah, well, let's start with this. Lemon, we missed it a little bit ago, but it says, oh, wrong one. What adjustments could BYU make offensively to create higher quality shots?
I'll let you handle this one, Chase, because I think we're going to have the exact same answer.
Ooh, interesting. I hope we do. We've been talking about this for a long time, and so this might be a boring answer for our regular listeners, but it needs to be the off-ball movement. I need to see some backdoor cuts. I need to see some guys flashing high post. I need to see these guys looking at pick and rolls and actually rolling instead of just flashing out and lazily going out to the 3. I just need to see guys put effort into when they don't have the ball to create these open looks. Like, again, we already glazed Duke on the show, but man, go watch Duke play offense and look at those dudes cut time and time and time again. It's swing the ball, cut. It's I'm getting pushed out, I'm cutting. Time and time and time again, man. And look, you know what? You know what's the first thing you lose in pickup when you get tired? Cutting. Everyone sits out on the 3-point line. But the off-ball movement's been so bad, and when we talk about this ISO stuff, it's blame goes a lot of ways. A sliver of it, at the very least, has to go to the rest of the team not doing any cutting. And when they get in these situations, they're doing this like post up 45 feet away from the hoop, like give me the ball here, or they're getting like I'm open, right? You're not open if you're 30 feet away from the hoop. All right, you need to get your down in the lane and go ahead and go work and go get some cuts to the basket. It's not that hard. It's fundamental basketball that all the best teams do. Just go watch anyone else. But BYU just doesn't do it. They don't like cutting to the hoop. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and to go off your point too, it's where these NBA coaches become so obsessed with the spacing on the floor, and they don't want to mess up any of the spacing for their best players to get to work. Or it's when you watch the NBA, it's everyone spread out. You have 2 guys on each corner, 3. Everybody spread out. The paint spread out, just so guys like you can give it to Kevin Durant, you can give it to Devin Booker to go to work and get to their shots because they're that talented. Even then, though, in the NBA. Eventually, that doesn't work. Eventually, you still have to move off ball. Eventually, you still have to play team basketball. But it works better in the NBA because those guys are so freaking talented. And the way the games are officiated better, there's more spacing, or officiated differently. There's more spacing, and it just works out that way. In college, your teammates aren't going to be as good. There's not as much spacing on the floor. So therefore, to create that space, you have to have the off-ball movement from these guys. I mean, go back and watch Mark Pope's last team with BYU with Ali Khalifa, Noah Waterman, Dallin Hall, and those cats. They were flying everywhere. There was never a moment someone was not moving. Richie Saunders was just cutting baseline to baseline. Might as well have been running suicides, just nonstop. And you just don't see that at all from this BYU team. That's how it's going to open things up. That's how it's going to unlock the game for AJ and Rob. And that's what's going to unlock this offense for this team. The problem is, though, it's a bit tough to implement at this point in the season. It's kind of like if you're not doing this, if you're not, a certain team by late February, March, it's like, it's tough to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. Some good points while we were talking here. Brad Jones says only 2 guys can handle the ball. Defense can cheat too much. Absolutely right. I think no one's scared when Boskovic has it or Kostic at this point, although he showed us a little bit tonight, but a great point.
And I think that's an excellent point because, once again, I've talked about this a ton where NCAA tournament champions, they always have 2 ball handlers. Whether it's you have your main point guard and then your combo guard who can still handle the ball, BYU doesn't necessarily have that. They do have AJ who can create his own offense. He can handle the ball well enough. But, look, Moo Davis isn't good enough to be able to handle the ball and bring it up and play point guard possessions and alleviate any kind of pressure off Rob Wright.
100%. And some people are saying, rightfully so, that Rob gets tunnel vision when he drives, or that is the ball handler looking for those passes. And it's a two-way street. Obviously, they got to be looking up too. They just have been trained at this point to not have to look up, right? Because there's not going to be someone open, or it's trust that's built throughout an entire season. Like you said, I don't think you can teach it an old dog new tricks, especially at this point. It's just too late.
And Alex Beach said, I don't want to see an NBA offense next season. Once again, there's a reason Dan Hurley watches and steals all of his stuff from the Euro game and not from the NBA.
100%.
Just saying.
100%. I regret putting Dallin Hall down. I miss him from James. Dallin was, dude, he could find some people.
Can I give a quick shout out to Dallin Hall? His box scores at Virginia haven't been phenomenal or anything. If you watch the games, his decision making has been so good this season. He is playing within himself so much. We're in just getting other guys involved, making the right passes, and also doing it in clutch moments this year for UVA as well. He's been fantastic. The only reason I would say I would want Dallin Hall on this team, one, it's better for his career that he left. I think he's doing a much better job at Virginia, and credit to him. He's getting paid more, and great for him. That's awesome. UVA is a great team. I think it would be very interesting to see Rob and Dallin in a backcourt of 2 guys who can actually handle the ball a little bit and see how that kind of works out.
Yeah, and Dallin was always at his best when he got downhill, and he was either finding the right guy or he was finishing. He was a lot more athletic than people gave him credit for. I'm really happy to see him doing well in Virginia. That's our guy. What a great sit down with him last year and stuff. Virginia's pretty nasty. This year.
Shooter Rock said, do we still think BYU can beat Nebraska and make the second weekend? Yeah, I do. I still do. I know that's probably a bad thing to say after BYU just got smoked by Central Florida, but they can beat anybody on a given day, bring the effort and everything like that. It would be very funny to watch. I think it would, we saw it even in the preseason game earlier this year. BYU was going at 40% in that game. Nebraska was going at 100%. Just the 2 contrasting styles of Nebraska plays like an elevated version of Princeton Ivy League basketball. And then meanwhile, BYU's playing a very, simple, basic NBA offense.
Yeah. Couldn't be different, to be honest.
Missing those Dallin Hall FU threes.
Missing Dallin Hall FU threes. Love this guy. We had some other good questions. Oh, CJ Smith. Bear Bachmeyer looked good last night. Maybe he can turn into a dual sport athlete. He was hooping jazz.
Little Kaufusi action.
The Kaufusi years were pretty special.
Oh, man.
James also brought up, it's forever ago, I'm not pulling it up, James. He brought up the Duke halftime clip that you sent me earlier today. And he said, I wonder if BYU's halftime is looking anything like that.
No comment, because I don't know, because I'm not in at halftime, so I guess it doesn't matter. But that clip got me, clip got me going. Wise Gamora said, will this season send BYU into a dark ages of no NCAA tournament bids? No, they're going to be fine. They're going to come back next year. They're going to come back strong. I think this is going to be a fascinating discussion where BYU, obviously it's going to come down to it's a disappointment that they're going to end up as a 6 or 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. But I don't think BYU is going to be hurting for recruits in the offseason and hurting in the portal because, one, they still have the resources. They're still going to be competitive in NIL first and foremost. And then when you add the fact that, Richie Saunders, who's a guy that developed under Kevin Young and is going to get drafted into the NBA, or he'll play real NBA minutes. He'll make the league. And then, by the way, you have the number 1 pick in the draft. I think that helps too.
Yeah. I will say this: if not for AJ Demansa, this team would not be a tournament team, and so we're very grateful and lucky that he's here. But I think that this is going to be a really good opportunity for this coaching staff to learn, to reevaluate, to re-recruit, and to refigure out how to build offense, defense, and this entire roster for the most part, other than some key players that are going to return and some recruits you have coming in here. So
yeah,
I'm
curious to see, because like I think they're going to stray away from, doing the quote unquote big 3 approach going into next year, but you never know. Like, it's just what kind of players fall into your lap and which ones can you get interested, who's hitting the portal at the right time. It's going to be very interesting going into next season. Yeah. We'll have a lot of pods on that, so no point in talking about it tonight at 2 a.m.
Very true. Get a lot in here now. Do you want any changes to the staff after this season? Obviously not KY, but any assistant coaches. I'm not going to be specific. Neither of us are, but I think it's time for some guys to take some head coaching opportunities. Some other schools. I think there's some brilliant basketball minds on the staff, but I, for one, wouldn't mind a shakeup, a little bit of change of scenery in that room.
Agreed. Moving on. James Holmes said, Carter, was your team at the Stake Center pickup tonight more Nebraska or more BYU play style? Breaking news. It was more Nebraska. We're moving the ball tonight. It was a good night.
Those are the only 2 styles of church ball.
Oh, yeah.
It is either BYU or Nebraska.
One team was playing like the bad boy Pistons tonight, and that was kind of scary. I was like, I don't want a torn Achilles out here. This is not. I'm not trying to get hurt playing basketball. So, different story. Yeah.
People talking a lot about next year. I think CJ brings up a good point. KJ Perry will be outstanding. The team might be better because they likely won't rely on just one dude so much, and that's what we saw in last year's team a lot. What made them so dang good is a team.
And once again, hopefully guys are healthy. Hopefully guys can fill in and just get the number one thing, like just get into the portal, just get shot makers, get guys who can knock down shots, get guys who can get hot. And you got to find that. I understand. Look, you thought you had Kentucky kind of fell into the same problem this year where they found dudes who had good percentages, but the volume didn't back it up. You got to find guys who can get that kind of volume. Those are tough to find in the transfer portal, but if they have volume behind their 3-point percentages, then it makes a little bit more sense. But like when you get a guy who's shooting 1.5, 2 threes a game, but he's a 42% 3-point shooter. Well, not actually. There's differences there.
Yeah. And I think to that point, like offense, you gotta have. Defense, to Gamora's point, I think you can teach pretty much anyone how to play good defense, right? All these guys are athletic enough to go out and play solid defense. Offense is something that you need to be like, are you a bucket getter? And that's something that's kind of by the time a kid's 21 years old, either is or he isn't. So a lot of people talking about next year's squad here.
Yeah, I want to get to this one. Saved by the Y said, can we also lure Colin Chandler to repent and walk the straight and narrow? A man can dream.
Hey, man, Colin Chandler might have that team to himself next season. I mean, he might be option numero uno.
Yeah, Mark Pope is going to say, everyone out, Colin Chandler. You stay.
We're good.
People are saying I'm playing ISO ball. The least ISO ball guy there is.
I'm just kidding. I'm glad to hear it.
And also, we did not play 2-3 zone tonight. Played man. It's a good name.
Let's go. You know, the one time I played with Karter, he was awesome. I think he had like a triple double. And did you like dunk on that dude and like for the game winner?
We've never played pickup together. We need to get a church ball pod pickup.
Dude, shut up. You're supposed to roll with it.
Wait, hold up. Andrew Franklin in the chat said, I heard from my friend whose dog's mom was owned by someone at BYU that said AJ might come back.
Whoa. Breaking news. Is this the Uber driver all over again?
Where did that guy go?
Yeah, where's
like
the guy that's
he just mysteriously just lost into the void?
Was it Moo Davis? Did he make a burner to tell us he was coming back?
All right, let's wrap up with a couple more chats and let's get out of here. It is 2 a.m. Blend B said, I don't play ISO ball because I'm completely trash on offense. Hey man, move the ball, just effort. That's all that matters. Nathan Hot Take said, are there any more boops in the transfer portal? I don't think they're going to need to find any more boops because they've got one. And I get the sentiment though of like, okay, you got to find guys who are, buying in, playing on both ends of the floor. I think you got to find one more like hard-nosed defender in the portal and everything. I'm assuming they'll get some bigger names coming in here soon. It's just all about getting knockdown shooting for me, man. You got to be able to space the floor. And not just knockdown shooting. You got to be able to bring in guys who can get hot like Trevin Nell could, where he could go off for 7 threes in a game or 6 threes. You have to have that threat. It's not about them getting 6, 7 threes a game. It's about being the threat and having to defend it and stretching the defense and opening things up for everybody else. And BYU just doesn't have that this year. So,
yep. I think to kind of go along with that, Adam's asking, like, where does Houston find these elite perimeter defenders that can shoot like crazy? We need some of that. And that's culture. That's a Kelvin Sampson staple that at some point, a program, you get to the point where like we only recruit this type of guy, and you want to come there as a player because you fit that and you see the success. BYU, look, this is the second year of Kevin Young. They don't have a culture yet established. And so they need to get to that point. And what is it going to be? Look, teams have found success in various different things. Houston does it one way. Still haven't won a title off of it, but they've been amazing for years and an incredible program. So we'll see. But you got to go out and find them this offseason. Transfer portal is going to be huge.
Yeah, portal's going to be huge. High school recruiting is going to be huge. Saved by the Y said, odds we land that 5-star kid. I'm assuming he's talking about Bruce Branch. Things are trending in the right direction. So, and people are talking about starting J-Mac. Shout out J-Mac.
There's a good comment. Brad Jones says, is the Rob ISO clear out this is equivalent of an A-Rod screen pass?
I would go with a different ISO clear out, but I don't want to. Yeah. Well, I think that's just a great question. That's just a great analogy. I'll leave it there.
Got to swing the rock. Can't always shoot it. Says shoot the rock. Bit ironic.
A bit ironic.
CW says, as a student that goes early to every game, that was the first time I've ever left early. Wow. Hope it never comes to that again. I'm going to say it right now, I don't blame you.
Oh, yeah. That's the stupidest thing when people are like, I can't believe people leave games early. I don't want to sit there and watch that crap. I don't want to sit there and sit in traffic and waste my time there. There should have been you talk about the boop walkouts we want to have. There should have been a walkout at halftime and everybody leave the building and let it turn into a bubble game.
Yeah.
I was shocked people are still there. They're like, I guess I spent $300 on this lower level ticket in the preseason, so I guess I have to stay.
Yeah, I'm Puka Nakua sitting 10 feet away from you. Might
Shut up, Puka.
Sticking around. McGregor minutes. Jack's Lion in the chat. This is a great comment.
Blend B said Tuyaki snuck onto the bench to call our defense tonight. Oh my gosh. It felt like you were it was like watching that like Virginia team put up 1 billion points. I know BYU won that game, but still.
Yeah. That was an awesome game.
But anyhow, Alex said there wasn't nearly enough booing tonight from the fans. Chase, last question I have before we get out of here. BYU has 3 more games left in the regular season at Cincinnati, at West Virginia, and in Texas, home Texas Tech. How does BYU finish the season after tonight? They got smoked by UCF.
Yeah, when we asked this question, we said 3-2. We mentioned that they would win one of those big ones, whether that was Iowa State or Texas Tech. They won the Iowa State game. It's great. Now you've lost this UCF game. I expect them to go 2-1 the rest of the way in whatever combination that is at this point. I don't know if I expect them to go 2-0 on this road trip. This is a tough time, and you're coming off a good spanking. The score does not reflect how poor and lopsided this game was. So I would expect you probably to split this road trip, to be honest with you, 1-1. It could go either way. Probably Cincinnati's most likely the loss. They're fighting for their lives. They have a good team. They've beaten good teams. I mean, they walked in Allen Fieldhouse, beat Kansas, and Darren Peterson played most of the game. I think they beat Texas Tech at home to end the season. So I'm going to say BYU goes 2-1 to finish it out. They probably end up just staying on that 6 seed line, heading to the Big 12 tournament, maybe win a game or two, and then we head out. I'm being optimistic. It sounds like everyone's going 1-2.
I'm going to go 2-1. I think I agree. I think they win at West Virginia. I think they respond. I think there's a bounce back in this one. And then West Virginia's had some weird losses recently as well. And then at Cincinnati, Cincinnati is a desperate team. Wes Miller's coaching for his life out there, and they actually have a chance to get on the right side of the bubble. What better chance to do that against a BYU team that does not want to get in for a dogfight? And Cincinnati, we saw what they did at Allen Fieldhouse. So, like you said, and then I do think they win at home against Texas Tech without JT Toppin. I think that's a really good matchup for BYU, actually, being able to get downhill without Toppin in there. And that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure off our front court, which we didn't even get to them tonight. They were very, very disappointing tonight. They didn't bring it, but once again, nobody brought it. So it is what it is. And also, my guy Zion, Duke Zion, he said, I'm sorry, fellas.
You missed it, Zion. We were glazing Duke for like most of this podcast. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, that halftime clip, bro. I mean, that just tells you everything about that Duke team. Just tells you everything. And then you watch them play Notre Dame tonight. It was Notre Dame. Like, Notre Dame, if you haven't watched Notre Dame play yet, ladies and gentlemen, do you remember those Zion Williamson highlight tapes when he was like at Spartanburg, and then you got like these little white kids, like he's just like, who's this kid guarding me? Like, what the crap? That's what Notre Dame is right now. And if like from the tip off between Duke and Notre Dame, Duke's like, oh, we just have to pass it underneath and it's an easy dunk every time. I think they won like 100-50. So
yeah, it was awesome.
Closing out some chats here. Adam J. Kelly said, all that matters is how we play in March. Absolutely. Like we said a little bit earlier, if you win a few games in March, all this is forgotten. That's all that matters. Jack said, split the road trip. Oh, here we go.
Sorry.
Oh, Blend B said, to end on a positive note, I'd rather lose this one and beat Iowa State than win this one and lose to Iowa State. Proving we can beat a top team was more important for us. That's fair.
I think it's a good comment and a good way to be positive at the end of this, even though it was a disgusting game.
Absolutely.
I can't believe we went an hour and a half. What are we doing?
Nathan Hot Take said, we won't lose another game. Natty bound. Talk about a hot take. And then maybe we can hire Coach Cal. The Duke halftime clip, go on Twitter and you'll see it somewhere. I think Zion tweeted it out as well. So follow Duke Zion on Twitter. Great follow. Yeah. But anyhow, all right, awesome. Chase. We went long. We went more than long enough.
I can't believe we did that. Yeah, this long.
I know. We started early and we ended up going 45 minutes later than we thought we would, but that's okay. Thank you, chat, tonight. That was an awesome chat, even despite the abysmal performance from BYU. We'll be doing a West Virginia preview show. That'll be out soon. Make sure to follow on the Field of 68 Podcast Network YouTube channel, at Churchball Pod on everything, as always, at Karter B8, at Chase_Rogers0. Once again, thank you guys. You guys are the absolute best staying up with us. It's after 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and you guys hung out with us after UCF blowout against BYU like this. So thanks once again, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.